White liar. A white liar tells small lies that are meant to avoid hurting someone's feelings or to keep everyday situations running smoothly. These lies are usually harmless and often happen without much thought. Complimenting a meal that was not especially enjoyable or saying you are busy instead of admitting you simply do not want to attend an event are common examples. Most cultures accept these lies to some degree because they can protect relationships and reduce unnecessary conflict. Even so, relying on them too often can make it difficult for people to know when someone is being completely honest. Compulsive liar. A compulsive liar tells lies repeatedly, even when there is little or no reason to do so. The habit often develops over many years until lying becomes almost automatic in daily conversations. Unlike someone carefully planning a deception, a compulsive liar may invent stories about ordinary events with little apparent benefit. Friends, family, and co-workers often become confused because the lies range from trivial details to major claims. Over time, this behavior can damage trust, even when the person occasionally tells the truth. Pathological liar. A pathological liar creates elaborate false stories and may continue defending them even after they have been questioned or disproven. The term has been discussed in psychology for more than a century, although it is not considered a separate medical diagnosis on its own. These lies are often dramatic, making the person appear more successful, important, or unfortunate than reality. Because the stories can grow increasingly complex, they often become difficult to maintain. Eventually, contradictions begin to appear, causing relationships and reputations to suffer. Exaggerator. An exaggerator starts with the truth but stretches it until it becomes something much larger. A small success becomes an incredible achievement, a short delay turns into hours of waiting, and a minor problem becomes a complete disaster. Many people exaggerate from time to time while telling stories because it makes them seem more entertaining. The difference is that frequent exaggerators blur the line between fact and fiction so often that others begin to question everything they say. What begins as harmless storytelling can slowly weaken credibility. Bluffer. A bluffer pretends to know or possess something they actually do not. This kind of liar often appears confident, hoping that certainty alone will convince others. Bluffing can be found everywhere from card games and business negotiations to casual conversations where someone claims expertise they never had. Sometimes the goal is to gain respect, while other times it is simply to avoid embarrassment. The strategy may work for a while, but genuine knowledge usually reveals the truth sooner or later. Fake expert. A fake expert presents themselves as an authority despite lacking the knowledge, training, or experience to support their claims. Throughout history, people have taken advantage of public trust by pretending to be doctors, scientists, financial advisors, or specialists in other respected fields. Modern social media has made it even easier for these individuals to reach large audiences with convincing presentations. The greatest danger is not the lie itself but the poor decisions others may make after believing unreliable advice. Promise breaker. A promise breaker says they will do something despite already knowing there is little chance they will keep their word. The lie happens at the moment the promise is made rather than when it is broken later. Sometimes the goal is to calm someone down, gain approval, or avoid an uncomfortable conversation. Broken promises can slowly erode confidence because trust depends not only on honesty but also on reliability. Once people expect promises to be empty, repairing that trust becomes much more difficult. Scammer. A scammer lies for personal gain by convincing victims to hand over money, valuable information, or access to important accounts. This form of deception has existed for centuries, changing with every new technology. Street tricks, fake charities, phishing emails, and online investment schemes all rely on the same basic principle of creating a believable story that pressures people into acting quickly. Successful scammers understand human emotions such as fear, excitement, and urgency. Their lies can leave lasting financial and emotional damage long after the deception is discovered. Alibi maker. An alibi maker invents false explanations to avoid responsibility for something they have done or failed to do. Instead of admitting a mistake, they create another story to shift blame or explain their absence. Students may claim impossible excuses for missing assignments, while adults may invent reasons for being late or avoiding obligations. These lies often grow more complicated as additional details are needed to support the original story. Eventually, maintaining the false explanation becomes harder than simply telling the truth. Self-deceiver. A self-deceiver tells lies so often that they eventually begin believing them themselves. Rather than intentionally fooling other people, they gradually reshape their own view of reality to protect their pride, reduce guilt, or avoid painful truths. History is full of examples of leaders, athletes, and ordinary people who convinced themselves they could never fail despite overwhelming evidence. Self-deception can provide temporary comfort, but it also prevents personal growth because real improvement begins with recognizing reality as it is rather than as we wish it to be.